in the abstract, a good game plan against control with spot removal, its own counters, and maybe a clock. But a lot of those strategies are just very soft to the card counterbalance. And so having an efficient, clean answer that's easy to put in your main deck because it's good against other stuff does a lot to shore up that matchup. But here's Joe Lossett again, just doing his thing.
So we saw Nolen earlier. Overcame, I think, a multi 4 in a game 1.
No, he lost. He won that match.
He won the match.
Yes. He did not overcome that particular game. Well, that's okay. I mean, the narrative is what it is. He mulled the 4 and won
the other.
Sort of, in parentheses, not that game. But, definitely cool for him to bang out a top 8 and possibly more with his grandma from Oklahoma in attendance.
So who do you like in this matchup, Esper Stoneblade or Blue-Eyed Miracles?
I would rather be on the Miracle side of things. I think the deck's just a little more streamlined, a little less fidgety, more just clean. And treats very good in this matchup. I would rather be on the Miracle side.
I mean, just unless you're in some sort of a Jace lockdown position, which Miracles can also.
Also cobble together.
Do that same thing. Esper Stoneblade still has to win in the red zone, right? You still need to put some bodies on the battlefield and maybe stick something on one and attack with it. And I feel like Miracles is pretty good at suppressing a not fast creature attack.
Yeah, the one thing that the Esper Blade has going for it in the matchup is the presence of Lingering Souls.
Yep.
That does a lot of work to fight. The Miracle's attrition elements. It does a lot of work in preventing Joe from just being able to stick Jace and carry that to victory. So that's a card that's very good in the control matchups. It's very well suited for Planeswalker battles.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to spend sometimes even more than 2 cards fighting a Lingering Souls. I mean, I'm sure there have been players out there who have spent, some equivalent of 4 Swords to Plowshares / Lightning Bolts. Yes. On all the little 1/1 guys, and you might hate doing it, but you might not have a choice if a Jedi's going to get equipped or you're taking a certain amount of beat down. So do we know who's going first in Game 3?
We do not. I believe Joe Lossett is on the play. And Joe is going to keep.
So, Tom Martell, the master of Esper Stoneblade.
Big enthusiast of the deck.
Big enthusiast
Grand Prix winner.
Of his deck.
Yeah.
Asked if I wanted to take the Miracle side of the Esper Blade best of 20. No, I don't. That would necessitate me playing this matchup.
Right.
20 times.
Is it against Tom or is it against a random opponent?
No, against Tom.
I mean, that's sort of a distortion, right? Tom's probably one of the best, few pilots on Earth here. With that archetype, I would be willing to wager.
He's pretty good at it, yeah. I mean, he invented that basic
the Jace mana base.
The Jace mana base. I have exactly enough basic land to not get locked out.
Can cast Jace, Lingering Souls, and flash it back. Perfect mana. That's what I want on my full lands. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't looked at where's we don't have the deck lists here. I mean, Tom could talk for hours about. Is there a Glacial Fortress in that deck? When you have to play the Glacial Fortress, which land to tap? If your opponent might have choke.
Mm-hmm. Here's Lauren's deck list, and I have Joe's now in front of me as well.
What do we have here? So Lauren has a Karakas, Underground Sea, Tundra, Scrubland. Yeah, he doesn't have the Glacial Fortress. Yeah, usually one of the first things you learn in efficient mana tapping is to always tap the island and not tap the Glacial Fortress. Because you preserve options by having white or blue mana, right? Mm-hmm. But in the Esper Stoneblade deck against green decks, you often intentionally tap the Glacial Fortress, which Lauren doesn't have, and leave up the islands just so you don't get choked.
Yep. So both players just playing draw go for the time being. 3 lands in play for Joe and 2 for Lauren. Lauren thought about a brainstorm there, but just is going into his 3rd turn.
So
and a Caracas from Joe, and presumably no play still.
So, with the presence of Brainstorm, and especially a shuffle effect in Polluted Delta, Lauren can just keep hitting land drops, right?
Yeah.
Kind of try to keep pace with Joe. Do you think that there's like an end road here, just like playing lands and saying go?
Well, I assume that sort of because Joe has a bunch of cheap threatening cards in Sensei's Divining Top and in Counterbalance. There's some pressure on Lauren to seize the initiative, because if Joe just plays a Counterbalance on an empty board, then a lot of your 1s and 2s might just get locked out. And I think also that because he has Lingering Souls in his deck, he sort of wants to be the one initiating the offense. So Joe's going to try to land a click in response to this Brainstorm, and he has Caracas, so he might be able to get that little synergy going. Targeting himself and putting an Oblivion Ring on the bottom.
So Joe's deck, unlike some other Counterbalance top decks, he's got like a fair number of creatures. He's got a Venser Shaper Savant.
Yes.
And
that's what he told me that was his addition to the deck this week. He added a second Caracas and a Venser.
And he's got like 3 Vendilion Clicks. Like, I would have thought, we'd seen some Blue-White Miracles earlier today, but I hadn't seen Joe's deck for this week yet. He has a lot of creatures, and my assumption was that Lauren would have had way more creatures, but
yeah.
Joe's actually got 3 Snapcaster Mage, 3 Vendilion Click, and a Venser. So, I'm sorry, 2 Snapcaster Mage, 3 Vendilion Click, and a Venser. So, like, 6 dudes. He's kind of in the same league, and Vendilion Click is one of the most hittable guys, right? Because it's an instant.
So Lauren brainstorming and then cracking his fetch at the end of his turn, finding an Underground Sea. And Vendilion Click plus Caracas being very good at sort of fighting against Jace. It's a very, very good way of alleviating that card or preventing it from getting played altogether.
And with Caracas, Vendilion Click's like a legit clock, right? He's
Yeah.
already got Lauren. Let's call it a 6-turn clock, right? There's going to be an incidental point of damage probably from a land or something.
Mm-hmm.
How are you supposed to kill that thing?
Well, the downside of Vendilion Click in this matchup from Joe's perspective is it's, as an attacker and as a blocker, it's very soft to Lingering Souls.
True. Okay.
So, if Joe can land his shots, that's great, but he can't lean on it too heavily in terms of just trying to kill Lauren with it, because it makes you have to prioritize Lingering Souls and fight over that card a lot when you're trying to win
Just
combat
get in.
through Click, yeah.
So, Caracas is legendary land, right?
Yes.
So, you can't get in a situation where you have, like, 10 lands in play and Venser Caracas.
No.
That would be kind of absurd.
Yeah, Joe has to lean, I think, on those cards more as ways of trying to pick apart. Sometimes we see cards like Click and Venser being these tempo plays that allow players to, disrupt a little bit and then start getting in some pressure. If Joe can do that, I'm sure he's happy with it, but I think he has to view those cards more as just disruption elements. He's going to crack his Marsh Flats here and land a Chase.
And then, is it, are you maybe +2?
I can't imagine doing anything but Fate Sealing, because he can Fate Seal, and then take a hit from the Click,
yeah.
And then you can brainstorm the next turn. Maybe find a Lingering Souls, maybe find enough Plow, and then start to brainstorm multiple times.
Yep.
He's going to Fate Seal himself.
Fate Seal.
Oh,
he's
he's
Fate
Joe.
Joe.
Okay.
And
He laughed and said, "You can keep that one." So
might not be very good.
maybe it's a second Caracas.
Oh, maybe. Let's find out.
It's a second Caracas.
You should play Magic the Gathering. That was a good read.
Yeah. I think it's the only card bad enough to make both players laugh.
So, second Caracas, basically a disaster, right?
Yeah, I mean, Joe has to probably just, he needs to brainstorm at some point here, basically. He has a fetch land, so he can get it out of there, but also Loren presumably has a Caracas of his own, so he has like a backup Caracas in case he gets strip mined.
But, you know, Joe misses land drop.
Yeah.
Matters.
So now this is a big turn right now, because if Loren can protect this Jace, he can really start getting a considerable edge. But
So
if he can't, then he's just throwing away one. Yeah, he could Intuition for 3 copies of
Lingering Souls and then flashback the Lingering Souls. He has enough mana for that.
Yeah.
Is he going to play Stoneforge Mystic?
I have to feel like you had to prioritize protecting your Chase this turn, because otherwise you just haven't extracted enough out of this card. It's one of the most significant things in the matchup.
So he's playing Stoneforge Mystic and getting what? Probably Shuko.
Because then your Stoneforge Mystic is then a 2/2, which is, you know,
a hard worker.
Yeah, it
does work.
Yeah,
it's in for 2. Batter style. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering why not Intuition. Unless he has a Lingering Souls.
I don't think so.
If he had a Lingering Souls, he probably would have led on it. You know, maybe didn't have as many as 4 creatures in play.
So he's gonna Fate Seal again, I guess.
So he can Fate Seal and then tap 3 mana for Intuition, maybe during Joe's end step. Set up a similar situation.
Get a bunch of Lingering Souls.
So what you're proposing right now. It's very, very tough to win an attrition fight if he lands an Intuition for Lingering Souls.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard enough to win an attrition fight.
Yeah, at that point, Joe's basically just playing towards establishing counterbalance lock.
But he's so far behind, it's not much of a lock, right? If that happened, if all those things happened. So Jace currently outside the range of a single shot of.
Ooh, boy.
Venser, that's a big game.
So now we have Venser Caracas going. This is actually awesome because it means he gets to surprise kill the Jace this turn.
So what's the right play? Pick up the Stoneforge Mystic so it can't block. Attack with both.
Probably. I mean, it's a good. There's a reasonable chance. I mean, he doesn't really have that much equipment in his deck, right?
I mean, the important thing is just that it doesn't block, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he picked up land?
No, he's sacking his Delta in response.
Oh, okay.
I mean, picking up land's pretty sweet.
Not right yet.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point it would be very sweet. Like he could just keep him stuck on a certain amount of land. There's various you can do. So Intuition.
Yeah.
It's going to be for souls.
I guess. I mean, unless he's willing to get Force of Will here and try to. Yeah, it seems. Yeah, he's getting. It looks like he's getting Force.
This is a man who knows what he wants in life.
I still feel like we would have been better served just putting together some Lingering Souls
Last
this turn. Yeah.
Last turn. So, it's getting Force of Will, and
I guess, although I guess if he had gone Lingering Souls on the Lingering Souls plan, he would have been pretty soft to Venser. Like he would have flashed back. He would have flashed back his souls, presumably like brainstorm with Jace instead, and then Joe could have gone, you know, Venser, your token Caracas it, untap Venser token Caracas attack, kill your Jace. So it's not clear.
So poor Venser is dead.
But Loren has used a lot of his choice. All right, he has a plot for the Stoneforge Mystic. Loren's used a lot of his significant cards, like a lot of the places where he has an edge. Trying to fight over some marginal cards out of Joe's deck. Jay still hasn't even gotten to just Fate Sealed twice.
I mean, he's absorbed 6 damage.
Yeah.
He has caused Joe to draw a dead card. He's done a little work.
And I think Joe actually has another. And I think he just drew another Venser. He has a second one in the sideboard.
Oh, okay. Sorry, this is game 3. That would be hot. That'd be the hotness because
It's pretty good against Batterskull. It's not bad against Batterskull, that's for sure. All right, so we're going to brainstorm here. We found a Lingering Souls. We have a Batterskull, Brainstorm, a couple Stoneforge, a Cabal Therapy.
ball therapy is so good,
Yeah. It is awesome.
especially if you're playing Nick Fit.
I feel like Lingering Souls Jace does a little bit more to maximize Cabal Therapy than Veteran Explorer and Deranged Hermit.
Well, I mean, you could go like Cabal Therapy, Eternal Witness, the Cabal Therapy, Flashback, Cabal Therapy with the Eternal Witness, and then you probably just broke even because you missed the first time.
So I had to assume we're just going to try to Souls twice here. Seems like a pretty good place to go.
And absurd Jace defense, actually, at that point.
Yeah. I mean, he has... Joe's going to be able to do a lot of work with Venser Caracas, though.
Against 4 tokens?
Well, here's the thing is, like, if he actually leads with Cabal Therapy, then if he tries to land Lingering Souls, the Venser actually puts it back in his hand. He can't flash it back this turn. So then the Jace is just down. And now Venser Caracas is, like, really disruptive in the way that Lauren has to use his mana. Does he have that?
Is Cavern of Souls just not good enough for Legacy?
He's playing Goblins.
I mean, but like in a deck like this, I mean, being able to Cavern and Caracas, your Wizards.
It would be good.
Lunacy?
It would be good in this matchup, but every non-basic that you add to your deck is just
another target.
Another 2 percentage points of the time you lose to Wasteland. So Joe shows his Venser, his Caracas, and I can't make out that third card.
Looks like an Isamaru, Hound of Conda.
Maybe it's a Terminus? I can't tell. But now, under normal circumstances, it would be awesome just to go Souls, and then if it gets counter, flashback Souls. But because it's Venser, Entreat is the last card. But because it's Venser, he actually can't flash back this turn. Because it's back in his hand.
Yep.
It gets remanded. Joe's new piece of technology for this week. Again, just another masterpiece. You never cease to impress me, Joe.
And then, what if he just like draws his own Mind Sculptor off the top? That would be hot.
This Venser, like, look at Lauren's hand. It's so bad against this.
It's like shocking. Just 4 mana for what?
He's gonna try. I think he's gonna try to cast his Lingering Souls, and it's gonna get Vensered. And then he's gonna have to say go or like recast a Stoneforge Mystic or something.
Venser. Yep.
Jeez.
This almost makes you want to give up on Mono Red Burn, huh, Patrick?
I'm really enjoying this Venser, I gotta say.
You can just add Venser to your Mono Red Burn deck. You've got Scalding Tarn already.
Yeah. And we're going to play a Stoneforge here, and I think we put a Batterskull down on our Brainstorm before, so I would assume we're getting it back. Although, again, if the Stoneforge sticks, that's one thing, but this is another spell that if he can't Stoneforge it into play, Venser is just another...
It's just like so good.
It just doesn't... It might as well not be in Lauren's hand.
Hmm.
The second, the Caracas and the Venser. That's my addition for this week.
So flashing back.
I'm assuming we're just taking the Entreat. This is also risky because like the rest of Lauren's hand is just so poorly suited to fight through that card. Like I almost feel like he needed to free roll in that Maybe I guess if Joe just casts and treat, it's also insanely bad. So it's gonna put the click back. And
Attack.
he just drew a Pyroblast too, which is insane.
Has he red?
Yeah, he's got a
play?
Volcanic,
Okay.
so he can actually click with Pyroblast back up and leave up his Caracas and not use his fetch land. It's
Just perfection.
yeah, I assume we're just gonna tag the Lingering Souls here.
Reveals. Oh, another additional Mind Sculptor, Lingering Souls, Batter Style, Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, I assume this is Lingering Souls.
So, interesting thing, Lauren has Stoneforge Mystic, already has Batterskull, presumably get other equipment, but regardless, you still need a body to carry that stuff, and Venser's just set up to win.
Right.
And that Venser Caracas must be so frustrating.
Yeah, because Lauren stuck a bunch of good cards. He's had like every powerful tool you can really ask for resolve in this game, and Joe's just giving him this dance with Vendilion Click Venser and
Wizard's theme deck.
yeah, Wizard's Steam Deck.
It's like
We just only need the laboratory really to tie the room together. We have the whole gang.
it's like Agent Zero.
Maybe a Patron Wizard. Just slide
Patrons.
slide that guy in there.
Who are your 4 favorite wizards?
Me, you, Osip, and Eugene. It's my 4 favorite pretend wizards.
Pretend wizards.
Yeah,
I was
pretend-
waiting for like Karan Butler, Antoine Jameson.
Wes Unseld.
John Wall.
Hasn't played enough. All right, Stoneforge again.
It's
he
gonna
have
be
a
a
sword?
sword, probably, or Jeté.
Yeah, I assume he has a second. Okay, he's got a Feast and Famine.
Atrocious against Venser, though.
Yeah, again, it's good luck. Good luck getting this one going.
Joe's got to be willing to let Lauren spend 5+ mana trying to get it going, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think Feast and Famine is the right sword to be playing in Legacy?
And certainly in the control mirrors, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because unlike the other swords, where if you kill the guy or go over the top, what it didn't matter. If Feast and Famine connects, it doesn't matter if the guy catches up next turn. Like answers it next turn, it's done a ton of damage.
I played a fair amount of Body and Mind in Legacy. Get through most of the creatures you want to fight.
Yep.
And the Millstone effect's actually fairly powerful in Legacy.
So in a turn, we're gonna see Caracas bows Venser.
Vendilion Click in for 3. And what do you think Venser's going to do here? Just wait for sword applications? Venser's not really interested in getting hit by, lifelink batter style, is he?
No, not really.
He's doing all this work to get in with his 3/1.
Yeah, it's a little awkward because this is an angle. It's pretty. Lauren can fight over Venser with Batterskull, Stoneforge, because it's mana efficient if Joe's bouncing it, and it can slide underneath counter spells through the Stoneforge Mystic. So.
And it's you can do it at instant speed.
Yeah. Ideally, what Joe could do, if Joe could find a plow or some way to answer the Stoneforge Mystic, from there, Venser
becomes really,
very
really
efficient at answering Batterskull. But for the time being,
it's just a kind of a dance.
yeah. I think it's possible Joe's just going to have to take his lumps from the Batterskull for a little bit here. All right, so
Sword of Feast and Famine. Maybe Lauren wants to split which creatures are on what.
Yeah. It's the best hedge. I mean, this is not ideal because once the Stoneforge Mystic is out of play, then Joe can sort of efficiently get the Batterskull back and start.
I mean, can't Joe just play Venser, lift the sword, and block the Stoneforge Mystic at tremendous value? This is exactly what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
And lift the sword, block the
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if Lauren had a plow here to like actually kill the Venser because, Joe's going to have to use the Caracas on his turn here, but instead it's just going to be a pretty big tempo disadvantage, and Lauren's not really going to get anywhere this turn.
We're just going to lose a creature, get in for 4, lifelink 4, but life's going to be miserable for it's like you said.
Oh,
it's
he's
going
not
to be a
going
dance.
to. He's not Caracasing this turn because he wants to hold up mana for Pyroblast.
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
And yeah, now the Stoneforge is down. Yeah, this did not seem like a great attack.
I mean, what's the alternative? Joe could easily just like lift up the Batterskull.
I don't know, just ship Batterskull and
move the germ.
Ship Batterskull and just hold your Stoneforge up with your equipment in hand and try to at least build up a board around Venser that way. I'm sure that outcome could not have been the best outcome for the turn.
Oh no! I mean, Lauren actually threw a creature away.
Right, and it is a very valuable creature, even though he doesn't have like a ton of equipment in hand. It's something that actually allows him to operate kind of mana efficiently against Venser, and that's a big deal right now. There's a brainstorm for Joe. I suspect that he's going to want to wait until he finds a fetch land to get that redundant Caracas away before firing off. Because he's in a pretty commanding position. It's not like he has to dig for action right now. And he has top to sort of...
I'm not 100% sure about this, but shuffling away the incremental Caracas might not be the best, because what if, Lauren just randomly places Caracas.
Sure.
Right? Like, then Joe's lock is gone, and he had the rebuy, but instead chose to shuffle it away. I think that he's got enough of some space here that maybe he doesn't want to get rid of it just yet.
Sure. Lauren figuring out where he wants to start here, but yeah, Venser is really putting the ball in Joe's court. I mean, he gets to just react perfectly. He even has Pyroblast backup to protect at this point.
Beautiful Pyroblast backup.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, not anymore.
What card is that?
It's Inquisition. So I guess Joe can probably brainstorm in response and try to hide his Pyroblast, because again, he can take a hit or two from this.
Oh yeah.
From this Batterskull. The damage doesn't matter a little bit, but it's not like Lauren's going to suddenly entreat him or something like that. He can take his time.
So Joe resolving brainstorm.
Joe figuring out what he wants to expose.
He shows a hand of
Venser, Island, Caracas, and
X.
Is it Terminus? It's probably a 6, right? If nothing's being selected, because it's white.
So we're just setting up the whiff.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And Joe's still. Oh, it's Entreat. Is that Entreat? Can't tell from the artwork.
Is Entreat available to be targeted?
No, it's 4 mana. I think the baseline is 4. It's like white 2/2, white 2 XX or something.
Well done.
Or not. Well, it wasn't selected, so I suppose it's not selectable.
Fair enough.
There's Jace, and I assume this is going to now.
Well, it's going to stick because the Pyroblast is no longer in his hand.
Yeah, and Lauren has Counterspell in hand.
I mean, this is not like the most dangerous Jace in the world, right? Like everything
the
that
the bigger risk here is actually losing your Venser, not the Jace resolving.
Because of Counterspell.
Yeah, because Lauren actually gets to cast Counterspell now.
Oh, Sensei's Divining Top.
So he's going to spin the top, and in response, draw a card. So now he resolves the spin. Joe is showing a lot of discipline here. He's just not going to expose his Venser to a counterspell. If you want to counter and Fate Seal and we can do this dance a little bit, that's fine, but the Venser is staying in the hand.
I mean, Lauren's fairly obligated to counterspell that, right?
I don't know what is, you know. Joe is screaming pretty loudly here. You're not going to get a counterspell my Venser. I'm not going to let the game go down that road. How many Mind Sculptors are in Lauren's list? He has 3.
So it's 3 against 3. Are there extra in the sideboards?
Yeah. He's just gonna, he's gonna let it go. Because of the click and play that Lauren can't answer, it's not even like Jace is particularly good.
He's just gonna be Fate Sealing again.
Yeah, just hoping to draw a plow or something.
Divining Top hits.
Yeah. I guess Terminus was the last card in his hand because it's in his hand currently. Lauren's hand is Counterspell, Sword, and so yeah. Now Joe is just saying go because.
But leaving back Vendilion Click.
Yeah, because he probably wants to just block Caracas Click and cast Click to see what's going on in Lauren's hand before he's willing to recommit his Venser to anything that's going on.
It's very patient and well thought out.
Yeah. It's a master class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe can also, if the board gets a little bit out of control, he can also, just Terminus away and then rebuild. How many actual card counterspell does Lauren have here?
Oh, that's Joe. Lauren has 1 in the main deck.
And none in the board.
Sword of Feast and Famine.
That's going to get to resolve. And I think now you're going to see Joe try to test the waters with Vendilion Click.
Kind of a blowout, right?
Yeah.
Exposing it to counterspell.
Yeah, I think he spun. There's one spun in his top right now, so he can just get it. And that's gonna get the counterspell.
Spinning top, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's a Vendilion Click in that top 3, I think.
Not enough mana to do anything too interesting right now.
Right, he might be willing to like Red Blast or something if that was there, but
Joe tapping 4, Venser.
bounces
the germ.
Yeah, because now he has to pay 3
and then 5. Sure. If you just bounce the Batter Skull, you're kind of giving him Flooded Strain for Lauren Nolen. I think you kind of have to.
And he has a Snapcaster.
And there's another Stoneforge Mystic, it looks like.
What can you Snapcaster for on it? I was just going to.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Yes.
I mean,
it's a body. It's a body.
You didn't even bother to look? Just no targets, probably?
Yeah, I don't think he's got any left. Joe tops.
Main deck, he has a Jide, so I guess it's not it anymore.
Yeah.
Sword of Feast of Famine in the sideboard. Obviously, and
I think Lauren not equipping the Sword of Feast of Famine that turn is probably some information that he has Snapcaster or something else kind of mana hungry. Maybe Force of Will in his hand. But it's definitely alive if he didn't use it there. I don't even know if he's necessarily going to win this game. But holy crap, has Joe played well. I don't say that.
Very patiently.
Yeah. I'm not easily impressed by this sort of thing, but
If he'd
Joe
been tapping mountains, would you be impressed?
maybe. Depends on how, but this has been... I mean, just the card quality disparity that's going on in this game, and Joe's just...
Quietly.
Yeah, just-
Plowshares.
That's pretty good here.
Is that a counterbalance?
I don't know.
The interesting thing about Venser is that when you have the baseline combo of the Miracles deck in play, which is Counterbalance and Divining Top, you can just kind of like clean up anybody who doesn't get caught by the casting cost police.
Right.
Just announced. A GP over 1,200 people get a PT invite if they make top 8.
Seems like a good
It's
change.
a great change.
Long time coming, I would say.
Snapcaster Mage. And it's probably going to target Counterspell.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable choice. I mean, the two best cards for the target in there are Counterspell and Intuition. Intuition's the only other real option there. Flashing back is Intuition, trying to get Lingering Souls going. So he blocks and returns with Venser. And now Lauren gets a Thoughtseize with the last card in his hand, so he's finally going to get it out from under that Venser, it looks like. He's going to break the Flooded Strand in response.
See some new cards?
Yeah, well, yeah, the top 3 wasn't any good, and he's trying to either top for, a Brainstorm or something to hide his gas, or find, if he finds Entreat on the top, then he doesn't even have to worry about the Thoughtseize because he just goes untap
just
and
like
treat.
untap and treat.
You're done. And worst comes to worst, he gets to Terminus away the board and then has a couple turns to find some piece of gas.
So what do you get?
Snapcaster Mage. Is that Counterspell?
Looks like Force of Will is the third one.
Can't quite tell. I don't even know if Joe has a Counterspell on his list. He has 1 and... Yeah, he has 1.
Flip top. Obtain.
Brainstorm. Yeah, he gets to hide the Venser now.
He really is playing quite remarkably.
Yes, this is just awesome. I mean, just look at the card quality that's been played between these two guys.
Just like utter patience in sequencing his manipulations. Well, he wants to lay it near the top so that he can go get it back, right? So.
I mean, the top 2 must be awfully good if he's willing to give up a Snapcaster here. Terminus, Snapcaster, Plains, and still the second Caracas.
Look at these graveyards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Snapcaster goes to the graveyard. The latest in a long line of Brainstorms, Pyroblast, Swords, Plowshares, Original Venser.
Yeah.
So Joe hastily untapping.
Does he have Entreat on top? I guess it's top on top, and then
Untapping with the white hot ferocity of I don't know. A Wolverine on fire. The white hot ferocity of Brad Nelson's new card.
Brad Nelson's token.
Yeah.
And now we're going to see a hard cast
Terminus. What's Loren got left in the tank? Nil?
I mean, he has some draws. Lingering Souls is pretty threatening because of the equipment. You know, Jace is still good. His last copy of Jace.
Can he return replay?
Lingering
Souls.
I mean, Lingering Souls is certainly fine here, but it's not. You know, it's not like he gets to actually get sword on something. And this could also just be invalidated by a huge entreat at any time too.
So Joe draws.
That's the divining top.
So uses the divining top and sees cards that I can't make out. Is it Brainstorm Venser?
No, he has the Venser in hand.
Loren is tapping 5 to move the batter skull onto one of the tokens. I think that that's a good play.
Yeah, you want to diversify a little bit.
And pushes a bunch of the tokens in. Joe plays Venser. He's probably going to target the one who's wearing the most dangerous equipment, right?
Well, it depends what the last... Oh, the last card in his hand is Caracas. Yeah, now this is like this cat and mouse game of like, does Loren have anything to do with the mana? He knew that I could blow up the sword, so would he risk... Sorry, he knew that I could blow up the... Like, prevent him from attacking with the sword.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Batter skull?
Yeah. And he's just going to hopefully... Hope that Loren just didn't draw anything particularly good because he's getting to untap.
He could return the batter skull to his hand.
Yeah, but that's pretty slow, right? I guess it's not that slow because it has 8 mana. All right, he drew another Lingering Souls. Joe under the gun. He needs to find Terminus or Entreat pretty fast here.
Here are... I guess they ran out of spirits.
Yeah, and there's a flashback. Yeah, so we need to find Entreat.
And moving the sword.
Okay.
Terminus would be
Yeah.
pretty comical, actually.
Entreat would be very, very good.
Joe Lossett. Down
Trying.
to 6, though, and
Yeah, just fighting.
there's 5 flyers and 2 pieces of equipment that can come in and say hello.
Yeah, Entreat does clean it all up. Terminus is devastating too. I mean, he's got some huge draws.
Brainstorm?
All right, brainstorm.
1, 2.
I think that's an Entreat on top.
Do you think that's going to happen, like, during Loren's attack?
I think it's likely.
Yeah? Like,
Yeah.
just flip my top.
Yeah.
But if it's anything like some of the other matches we've seen, Loren will just rip the Hive Mind. like, oh,
I don't know if there's a Hive Mind 2 rip.
BT Dub's Hive Mind.
I don't think there's a Hive Mind 2 rip.
Maybe he'll just like
If he draws like a
Jace
hard,
the Snapcaster Mage.
he's like a hard counter or something. Back-to-back Lingering Souls from Lauren here has been
Just fine.
yeah, just an awesome sequence here.
So what do you do? Put two Entreat the Angels on the one wearing the Batter Skull?
Yeah, just clear him out.
And then one wearing Sword of Feast Famine's only a 3/3?
Yeah. All right, he's gonna brainstorm first. Brainstorm pretty awesome. Again,
Really awesome. Yeah.
yeah, it's
1, 2, 3. What's Lauren Nolen got?
Land,
Spell Pierce. Ooh. Will Joe, assuming he has Entreat the Angels, walking?
Well, the thing is, because he responded, because it was brainstorm, I have to suspect, since that was the last card in hand, if Joe had Entreat, that would have happened right on the spot. Probably would have actually happened in Lauren's upkeep. Now, having let it resolve, I suspect the last card, I suspect if there's a white card there on top that matters, it's Terminus and not Entreat. Because there's no way he would not Entreat in response to that brainstorm.
Well, I mean, if he really wanted Lauren to swing with everything, and
It doesn't matter enough, because you can still just untap and then Vents or whatever has the Batter Skull or whatever and
Okay.
shove.
so Lauren brainstorm the graveyard and tapping 3,
I assume we're just putting Batter Skull on something.
3, 5. Sure seems like it. Yep. And Rumble. So flipping top.
It's Entreat.
Is he gonna get smoked by Spell Pierce?
I don't know.
How many total tokens are attacking? That one with 3 dice is 3.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 7 with some.
I had to
some
assume
boosts to it.
Joe's playing around Spell Pierce. He's been so disciplined for this long that
2.
oh my god.
Yeah, those last 2 are left open.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see.
He's looking.
Yeah.
He wants to know how many pierces are we looking at here? I mean, if he plays around the Spell Pierce here, he's like
Just
more disciplined than me. That's all I can say. I actually think he doesn't need to make a million tokens. He can take.
He wants to make enough to slaughter the attack, though.
Right. Yeah. He obviously doesn't want to die here, but he can afford to take a shot, I think.
Lauren has 2 Spell Pierce in his sideboard.
And Joe hasn't seen one yet, but maybe he saw one in the previous game.
Who knows?
We
entered
This is insane right now. What's
the
happening?
third game.
The amount that is leaning on Joe's decision. If he walks into the Pierce, he just dies. If he plays around it, it looks quite favorable for him.
I mean, yeah, the counter-strike is
It's
probably
huge.
death, right?
Yeah, and Lauren's board just gets decimated here. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so in that world, he's still. If he blocks Batter Skull and Sword, he survives, and then everything else is just bonus. And Joe is for 4.
Wow. What a stinking blowout. So 2 guys on Batter Skull.
One guy on Sword, and then one guy on.
Another guy.
Yeah, I think is the block. And Joe's going to fall to 2 here.
So 1 through 4. Yep, he falls to 2. Well, Lauren is going to obtain
He's going to go up to
4 life,
17,
yeah.
Or 5, sorry, 5. It's plus 4.
Oh, yeah. It's not a pathetic little germ. Living weapon. And 3 remaining...
4 remaining, yeah.
No, 3 remaining angels.
Yeah. 3 angels versus 4 spirits.
That's pretty good.
Oh.
Ish.
Joe and taps.
Think you drew anything clever?
All right.
Any guesses?
I'm gonna guess it's Sensei's Divining Top.
I would tend to concur. And is it time to take a look yet?
His hand is Click Fencer.
He always seems to have those guys left.
Some way, somehow.
It's like he had a way to keep bringing them back.
So now the cards he has to dodge the most, is there like a Detention Sphere in Lauren's deck?
Yes.
That's a big one to dodge.
Is that Caracas?
Yep.
Might as well play it, right?
Well, we might be getting clicked now. Because Lauren's pausing, so... Yeah, he's clicking, and
Spell Pierce.
Joe gets to see the Spell Pierce that he played around last turn.
Just leave that, right?
Oh, yeah.
You just know to play around it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Write yourself a little note, play around Spell Pierce, but you already did.
Well, the thing is, right now, he can actually just, like... He can just leave those 2 cards in his hand, use the Krakus right... He can just use the Krakus on the click right now, and then if he gets strip mined, it's like, okay, that's not great, but... He's gonna
Berry, sure.
Okay, he didn't want to use the Caracas there. If we clicked into the draw step, then I feel like we wanted to send our best. Oh, I guess he's just getting ready to attack. He's just ready to turn it on.
I mean, you're gonna send 12. What are you gonna do?
It depends on what Lauren does. I mean, presumably whatever he puts the Batter Skull on is going to get bounced, and then whatever gets the sword is not going to be able to block. Like, it's not going to be able to block a 4/4.
So, well, there's 4 attackers, 3 blockers. He's not going to be able to do the same kind of thing that he did last turn. He's one token down.
I mean, yeah, Lauren's not even close to attacking. There's no way.
You don't think it's worth, like, just value attacking?
I mean, your guy just gets unsummoned. You don't have enough mana to move the Batter Skull somewhere else. It's fine to declare an attack, I guess, but it doesn't really do anything.
Yep.
All right, so
Just
we're still holding. We're actually still holding the
Fencer.
Yeah.
Would you have used the top that way there, or you just, like, launch the Fencer out and kill one of the spirits?
At this point, I'm just not questioning anything that Joe's doing.
You think just, like, absolute precision?
Yeah,
every single time?
whatever's happening is correct. I'm positive. So.
Now, you see how he's actually sped up his pace of play just now.
Yeah.
Because he was playing so... It's like... you're, like, walking around, and then you have something difficult you have to think about. You just stop. Mm-hmm. You put all of your energy into thinking about the thing. You can't even keep walking. You can't keep, like, a regular pace of stride. It's like Joe was, like, moving very slowly before, like, making sure every single one of his decisions was as tight as possible. I mean, look, he's at 2, right? 2 versus 17. Like you've said 20 times over the course of this match, Lauren's just run through the gamut of Jaces and swords and Batter Skulls and Stoneforge and the worst possible, threat for Joe. And it looks like now Joe is on the cusp of taking over the game.
Yeah, and I think that he's actually floating an Entreat right now because it allows him to not worry about Detention Sphere. And then if Lauren drops his guard down, the last Entreat just kills him.
So Joe's probably just gonna kill this, right?
Yeah.
Murder. What if he lifts the batter skull instead and then just blocks the spirit?
I think that if he knew that Lauren was drawing Jace, it's probably good. But since Lauren kind of doesn't have anything to do with the mana and the germ token still matters, and he wants to just whittle down the flying blockers that Lauren has over time,
Okay.
I think.
Well, okay. The reason that I would go that way is because Lauren doesn't have enough to recast the batter skull and equip, right? So having a germ token on the ground. Let's see. There's 1, 4. How many angels has Joe got? 3 or 4? 3. It's 12. Okay, so he's 15 flying.
Do we overpay for that? Do we overpay for that Jace?
Looks like it.
We're gonna put top on top, Pyroblast again, 2 mana up.
Wow.
just
Jeez,
the
crow. Sorry for all the dead air. We're just sitting here with our jaws dragging on the table.
Yeah. That's the last. Also, Lauren's now out of Jaces. We're done with that.
We're done with Jaces.
Yeah, no more Jace.
Like so, masterclass is what you called this, right?
This is a joke. I mean, this is just a joke.
Push with like 1 angel. I mean, no.
Yeah, he's whatever. He's probing. He can't. I don't think it's a little bit dangerous for him to ship, because then actually he can ship 1 because he can actually cover.
He can. No, he doesn't want to get hit by the sword.
Yeah, if there's a plow, if like
there's
Lauren
a
draws
plow.
a plow, it's bad. I think if he attacks.
Well, he can just throw the. He can throw the Vendilion click in front of the sword wielder and trade if he really had to.
Sure, but he also being at 2 is actually pretty important for Joe because he doesn't want to take 1
because then he can't break his lance
to flood straight to shuffle again. Yeah. So that being at 2s. Are we picking up the batter skull now? I think Joe is pretty happy with this play because it gives him just such a huge reprieve.
But what's the advantage of picking up the batter skull? Just getting out the body?
Yeah, I guess it's getting another body, but now it's Lauren's whole turn now to basically do nothing, and Joe just gets to
flip top counterspell.
Yeah, who even knows what's.
Yep. Called it.
Oh my god. Oh. I mean, this is just.
Yet can he attack with an angel? Come on, peace all.
I think we're close. Now that the batter skull's out of the way, it's a lot easier.
Top. Was it land? Were those lands? Am I lying?
Yeah, I'm not positive.
The best would be if there was a Jace flip top, Jace cast Jace, redraw Divining Top, play it.
Yeah.
That would be the best, right? Or actually, if he just played Jace, he could just murder the rest of those tokens, right?
You just start on summoning and bashing.
Top counterspell.
We're ready.
Ready?
Looks like we're ready.
For 1, right? 1 angel. Flip top.
I can't.
What is that?
Seal of cleansing. That's a
disenchant on a enchantment.
Yeah, so Joe just wants to know if this is going to resolve first, because then now Lauren's out of equipment, so he's basically just doesn't have haste anymore. 4, 8, 12, 15, 17, and he has exact lethal on board. Again, that one detention sphere is basically the last piece of the puzzle that's threatening.
Attack with one angel.
Just the one.
One strategic angel.
Yeah, I think the detention sphere is still alive. It's a big one to dodge here.
Because, I mean, 3 flyers is enough, right?
Yeah, that's a Thoughtseize. Is that even it? It's not it.
Joe doesn't need his cards in hand. He's winning with the cards on top of his deck. The anti-OSIP.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that it's Sensei's Divining Top. I was right. Time for a look. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3. And
now we can actually, I think we can.
If we push all 3 attackers, if you push all attackers, then
he has to block. If he lets through.
You don't want to walk into a spot where Swords of Plowshares beats you, though.
No, but he actually gains a bunch of life if Swords of Plowshares isn't in play.
Like, what if he just, like, Swords of Plowshares the click?
Right, but then you have 3 against
3.
not that much damage. Right, and Joe's got some life to play with.
All
it's
right.
like Delta.
Next turn looks like maybe a push turn, right?
Yeah, I think.
Only 9 life. More than enough angel damage for that. Let's see if we have any quips from Tom Martell. Nope. Maybe he would like to challenge Joe instead of me. I would have lost this a long time ago.
I
would have been like, yeah, he countered my Venser.
Yeah.
Spell pierce my Venser.
You can't spell pierce a Venser. Read the card.
Flip top. And it is
something totally awesome, I'm sure.
Bonfire of the Damned.
Yeah, sure.
For 1. Mind Sculptor. That resolve. Ugh.
Yeah, Lauren has 2 pierces, but that doesn't matter. Now we're gonna probably, I would assume we're just it's time to unsummon and smash.
It's finally time.
I'm not sure what reactive card Joe is concerned about at this point, like what's causing him to have some trepidation about just.
Dark Blast?
No, Joe's not perturbed. Oh, he's fate sealing.
What if the detention sphere were on top? Like,
yeah,
insane if the.
And that's actually that's a small mistake Lauren made, was not playing the fetch land. Usually in these matchups, you actually want to have 1 fetch land at the ready.
It's just in case of
the chase fate seal.
So he's still pushing with only 1 angel.
Dude.
I love how he's just sitting there with the seal of cleansing. So like,
yeah, just no rush.
Lauren could be like, "Oh, maybe I'll gang block." One of my guys is 3.
Oh my!
Oh, wow. So just that game 3, I just want to point out, the game 3 that we just watched was 63 minutes.
That was a masterclass. That was a masterclass. And Joe knows it too. Holy crap!
What minute would you have given up?
25.
63-minute game 3.
That is just.
That's longer than a round.
That was